Nigeria finished third at the African Senior Club Championship in Cameroon, and the Falconets literally spelled Liberia in Abuja. Those were actually the highlights of the weekend. And at least you just saw the opening ceremony of the Special Olympics. Remember, about 42 Nigerian athletes are there participating, and you're going to be having more than 25 people from different parts of the world competing in that competition. Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Now let's just take a look at the headlines. Of course, we're starting with the big one. Warri Wolves recorded the biggest win of the season and moved to fourth on the log table, demolishing Economy Warriors at the Warri City Stadium yesterday evening. And it's all about making a standard ahead of the World Championships for Nigerian athletes. Even Tyrion Akins, who got a bye as African champion, is also seeking that same standard. Also on the program, Chris Froome defies criticism to emerge winner of Tour de France for the second time. His first win was in 2013. Now, how can Nigerian athletes actually get that A standard they're seeking before the World Championships in Beijing? Well, some of the athletes we spoke with in Warri says the only way they can do that is to see how they can focus on what will be happening on Wednesday. That's when the big one is. That's talking about the trials for the World Championships. Let's listen to them.
I'm looking forward to it. I just really want to get my rhythm down, and I haven't raced in a while, so I just want to continue to use these races to get better and better and to sharpen up for Beijing. Internationally is difficult anyway, you know, the plane 12 hours, my ankles were swollen, but I get here and it's great. Like, it's a great crowd. I love seeing kids come out and do track and field because it's such a, I feel like it's a sport that opens the doors for a lot of people. So my target would be to better my season best, run 12.8, run 12.7, make it to the semifinal, and hopefully to the final.
My start was terrible, so you know, in the middle of the race, I was able to get it going, and that was the reason I won. But I mean, for the most part, it was so-so. I'm looking forward to next week because I know it'll be much better. My personal best this season has been 13.55, so that's decent. But I'm going for the 13.3s and 13.4s, so I'm a little short from my goals, but I'm pretty sure I'll get there. Being the African champ, I actually get a bye to the World Championships, so I'm working, but I'm not worried about that. I'm working towards hitting the standard anyway. But once I get there, my goal is to find a medal.
You know, I just try to make sure my techniques goes good, you know, but I messed up a little bit and I couldn't meet up with the time. But that's fine. I don't really care about the athlete coming. I've trained hard, I've worked hard, I'm prepared. All I got to do is just to, you know, battle the game with them.
There's Amaka Ogwebuna. She actually got a time of 13.82. That's for the 400 meters hurdles. And for her, she's already qualified for the World Championships in Beijing, which is starting August 15th. And also for Tyrion Akins, he has qualified also for the World Championships in 400 meters hurdle for men. But for Lindsay Wehima, that's the lady who won the 100 meters hurdle in Warri, she is still, she's still stressing and also working hard to see how she will be able to make it. But the big issue there was actually the fact that most of them actually complained about the track in Warri City Stadium, saying that it was bumpy and it was really too cool, and the weather and all that actually made them to have that standard they were not expecting. Imagine for Litton, who actually had personal best this year, has been 12.97, but in Warri she actually ran 13.74, so that is really poor. So she's yet to meet that standard. And of course, you also have other athletes who are actually talking about the fact that they did not really like the track, but know they had to do everything possible to ensure that they get on the plane to China in Beijing for the World Championships. Now you guys can talk to us on Twitter, of course, on Facebook. What do you think about it if Nigerian athletes can actually get medals at the World Championships? Who are the medal hopeful, actually? Tyrion Akins, of course, from his performance, I think that's someone you can look forward to. And Amaka also, what she ran in Louisiana, in Switzerland 2 weeks ago, that's also something you can look forward to. So maybe bring in 2, 3, 4, 5 athletes finishing at the podium. But it's going to be really, really tough for them because where they are actually having the trials, worry, that is not where some of them are used to. They would have preferred having it in Calabar. But we know what happened in Calabar. The Cross River State government saying that, well, they don't really have the fund to actually stage it this year. It was supposed to be a 5-year agreement. This is supposed to be the last edition, but they just don't have the fund to fund it. And at the end of the day, well, Delta State government decided to say, okay, they can host all the athletes. Some of the athletes that participated here, you'll be having all of them participating in the trials because that's where athletes will be selected come Wednesday. And that event is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So athletes were able to make the A standard here because in Warri on Friday, nobody was actually able to meet that A standard everyone was expecting. So maybe, well, at the trials, that's the all Nigerian athletics trials, they can make that standard they are really seeking. For Ogagana Agori actually was not really a happy man because he felt he should have run better. 13.38 was really poor for her. Gloria Sumo also at 11.60 seconds. She wasn't really happy with that as well. But for the hurdlers, they had a better time finishing in that. Okay, quickly from athletics. Okay, still talking athletics, you know, it was not just only Nigerian athletes that actually participated at the Warri Grand Prix. We also have other athletes coming from across the world. One from Mozambique who actually says right now he's having a better impression about Nigerians because what he had before wasn't really cool with him. Let's just listen to him.
We have a stereotype. We have a stereotype in the world, and it's totally different. The Nigerian people are actually good. They're warming people, they're welcoming. It's not what the world says, you know. There's a lot of negative stereotypes about Nigeria, and it's not what I'm experiencing. We're taken care of. I mean, we're not in the greatest of hotels, but we don't, there's food, there's a bed, there's water, you know. And at the end of the day, the people are welcoming and they're doing their best for us. So I'm happy in that regard as well.
Wafa has actually won the 400 meters international hurdle. And for him, he's still fighting to see how he can qualify for the World Championships for the Mozambicans. Okay, well, Austin will be talking to us from Yaoundé, Cameroon. What happened to Team Nigeria? Well, the Union Bank actually represents Nigeria at the club level. But we know what happened to Haruna Quadri, couldn't just win it. But for Austin, what do you think about Nigeria's performance at the championships in Cameroon?
Good morning, Cecilia. Nigeria's performance, for me, is fair. But it's one that can be good and even get better before the All Africa Games in September. Haruna Quadri came here with a lot of hope, not just to win it, but to at least beat Omar Assar, you know, and just avenge the loss at the Lagos Open. Cecilia, I watched the Egyptians play table tennis, and you know that a lot of preparations have gone into their training. They were so prepared. They were in China for about 3 months before they came for the Senior Cup. Congo have been in China for 8 months now, getting for the All Africa Games. So for Haruna Quadri, he just needed to up his game, got to the finals, and couldn't push any longer. Because, of course, he was complaining of stress. He had to travel down from Portugal a day before, came down, and then the same thing. What's the name? Olaide Atinuke also went through the same stress, couldn't do much. She stepped in for Edem of Young that couldn't make it.
Okay, Austin, you were talking about some athletes that just couldn't make it through. Now, what really happened to them, and how far will they be able to, you know, have a better? How can they have a better performance when the All African Games start? Okay, since we've lost Austin, once he's able to get back to us, we'll continue with that conversation concerning Nigeria's performance at the ITTF Africa Senior Cup. Now, we're actually talking about the Special Olympics, of course. At the beginning, you saw thousands of fans actually watching 6,500 athletes, you know, competing for the over 25 different sports. It's going to be 9 days competition, and you're having about 165 nations competing in that event. Is the World Games, And of course, it started on Saturday night as the opening ceremony, and the gathering was the largest for a single event in Los Angeles, surpassing that's 1984 Olympic Games. So that was actually huge. Talked about Nigeria, of course, we're having 42 athletes competing in seven different sports. And the athlete actually paraded before the lighting of the Special Olympics Quadrum, and U.S. athlete Destiny Sanchez actually carried the torch over the final distance and then performed the ceremony to light the quadrum. And First Lady Michelle Obama was also in attendance. We also have all the special officials there to welcome the athletes. That's a special moment for this particular American athlete, because he was able to carry the torch for the final distance. Because meeting the U.S. President, the First Lady of the United States, is really a wonderful moment for him. Other athletes also, you saw this one also carrying the quadrum and of course taking it down. It's going to be lighted, and of course the ceremony has been declared open. Tyra Salam, of course, is in LA. He will be giving us updates of Nigerian athletes' performance once we're able to get through to him. Okay, Austin is actually back online now. If you can talk with Austin, of course, we're talking about how Nigerian athletes can actually, better their performance at the All-African Games. Because you talked about some countries who have been in camp for 8 months now.
Yes, Cecilia, before I lost you, I was trying to tell you how some African countries are taking the All-Africa Games very serious. Congo, they are the host of this year's All-Africa Games, and they've been in camp since. They've been in camp for about 8 months now. I spoke to some of the athletes, and they said for them, they are taking all the games seriously. In fact, they've even gone to get some Chinese players that will be playing at the All-Africa Games. So it means in September, Nigeria will not only be going against Egypt, they also need to play against Congo. I spoke to the chairman of the Table Tennis Federation, and he says their target is to beat Nigeria. So you see, for us, we need to start preparing extensively. Yes, I know the athletes are in camp, but what are the programs to ensure that when they come to the game, they'll actually do well? We've mentioned coaching. They don't have good coaches. Aruna Kwadi complained of the same thing. Kazima Konjola complained. Funke Oshanaike complained. So we also need to fix coaching so that our table tennis can shine again.
Talking about coaching now, the National Sports Commission actually talked about the fact that with the issue of funds being released to a different federation, of course, to National Sports Commission, they actually want to look at some of the federations who are looking for technical assistance from abroad. How far has the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation gone about that?
I know the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation, just after the Commonwealth Games, I've been talking about the need to bring in some coaches. Even the coach that took Aruna Kwadi to the World Cup has also been mentioned. Aruna Kwadi also mentioned that it would be good to engage some foreign technical advisors. Yes, the NFC is doing a good job by ensuring that their technicalities are fixed, but they need to see it through. Cecilia, we've always been saying that if coaching is not up to date, it is not on point, athletes will struggle. Even when you get coaches nationally, what sort of training do they give to those coaches to ensure that they are, following international standards, international practices, so that when they go out there, they know what to say to the athletes to ensure that they get to optimal performances. So I think what the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation should do right away is get a coach that will move into camp with the athletes that are already there as they prepare for the All-Africa Games.
Okay, Austin, thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Wish you a safe journey back. Hopefully tomorrow you'll definitely be with us here.
All right, Cecilia. Take care.